Hi, it's Pavel with the C# homework from the book C# 2012, How to Program. It's chapter 5, exercise 21, and we are going to find the largest number out of 10 numbers. Imagine that. So, we're supposed to enter 10 integers and determine and display the largest integer, when we should use at least the following three variables: counter, to count to 10, to keep track of how many numbers have been input and determine when all 10 numbers have been processed; B, a variable number, which is the integer most recently input by the user; and then, of course, the largest, which would be the largest number found so far, and that will be the output as well. So we need to do some looping here. But before we loop, let's do those variables as they ask us. So it was counter, let's initialize it to 0, the integer number and largest. So integer number initialized to 0 and integer largest initialized to 0. And now we can do the loop. So for I equals 0, while I is less than 10, and let's increment it after each loop, of course, after each iteration. Let me format it a little nicer. And here's the body for the loop. So we ask the user to enter the number, not right, but the right line. Please enter an integer, and the integer will be the number. So then our number equals, well, we have to again convert to integer console.read line. So whatever user enters, we'll convert it to integer, and that will be stored in our variable number. And now we have to find out if this is the largest number. So if counter equals 0, in other words, this is the first number entered, and we'll assume that's also the largest one. This is the one that we will compare the next numbers to. So we'll assign the largest to number. Again, so our first iteration, the first number user enters, we will assign it to the largest. We will assume it's the largest. But then we will, of course, compare them, the other numbers, the other 9 numbers, to it, which in our else statement. Because the next iteration, the counter will not equal 0, it will be 1. So this will be skipped, and the comparison will be made. So now if number is greater than largest, then largest equals number. And that's really all. If you think about it, here's what's happening. User enters first number. Let's say he enters number 2, the value 2. So here we go. Is counter equals 0? Yes, this is the first iteration of the loop. So largest equals 2, the number that the user entered. Then it goes again. Now counter will equals 1. Actually, not. I don't know why I don't have a counter. It's of course supposed to be I. And I is the actual counter. Or you know what? I know what I wanted. So instead of I, let's call this counter. Normally I just use I, but they wanted to use the variable counter for some reason. and it's already declared. So counter equals 0 at the beginning. So the first loop equals 0, yes, largest number equals whatever the user entered, let's say 2. Now within the second iteration, counter equals 1, so this is skipped, and we go here. Is the number user entered greater than 2? Because remember, largest now holds the value 2. Yes or no? If it is, then we'll assign the new number, the larger number, to the variable largest. If not, this is simply skipped and go into another loop, another iteration. So now all we have to do is console.writeLine, and the largest number you entered was, let's do the placeholder thing, it's going to be a number, and it will be the largest. And console.readLine, so I can read the output before it disappears. Let's try it. Alright, please enter an integer. 2, 5, 9, I don't know, 100, 99, 105, 17, 22, and let's say do 5 again or something. Please enter an integer. Let's do 10. I think that's the last one, so let's make 97. And the largest we entered was 105, which is correct. All the others were lower, were smaller than 105. And so that's all there is to it. Very simple. You assign your counter, your for loop. You'll ask the user to enter a number. You will convert it to integer, store it in a variable. This is checked. This is true only the first time. This is basically to initialize the largest number to the first number a user entered. After the first loop, counter equals 1. This is skipped. It goes to else. It compares whether the new number entered is larger than largest. If it is, they swapped. Largest will now equal the new number. Then again, this is skipped. This is compared all 10 times, and after that, the variable largest holds the largest number that was entered, and we will simply output it. Hope it helped you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.